plumbing worth it in 2024? Let me give you the reasons as to why it is and to why it's not. So myself being 19, having my tradesman, and starting at the age of 16, let me go over a couple things with you and let you know why I think it is still worth it to be a plumber in 2024. All right, so I got my clipboard here. So we're going to be discussing 4 things. So number 1, let me first start off and say I don't think it is worth it if you think that this is just to get a quick buck and immediately you're going to start out on your own truck and start running towards your goals, start running towards making 6 figures. I'm going to just tell you right now, if that is your mindset, I don't think this is right for you. I don't think you should be a plumber. But let me go from number 1. All right, so some of these words I'm gonna spell wrong, hence why I got into the trade. But let me just start out by saying the economy. People are wanting to get into the digital space and wanting to be a computer programmer, wanting to be a software editor, or thinking that they're gonna make it into the big leagues like Apple, Google. Just, you see those bigger tech companies, they're already using AI and they're using it to its full capabilities. As for something like plumbing, welding, mechanics, even carpentry, you don't really see that being you don't really see that being taken over by AI, and that is number 1. Number 2, can you see that? You could barely see the C. There you go. Competition. So, as I said in number 1, going on to number 2. Number 2 kind of piggybacks off of number 1. So, a lot of kids, they get out of college, not out of college, they get out of school, out of high school, and they want to go straight into college because they have everybody telling them from previous generations, get into college and be an engineer, be a doctor. Some people are just going in to get their associates in puppetry. It's just nonsense at this point, and it's getting to the point where a lot of degrees that are just straight up, you see that on paper, you see something on paper and you can call it baloney basically. One of them being an arts degree. We talk about arts degree. What even is that? But a lot of kids are moving towards art and they're not taking the opportunity. What the French says? All right, markers given out. They're not taking the opportunity to actually invest their time into being a plumber or getting into the trades. That's why every time I meet somebody my age, 18, 19, 20, even like people that are 23, I always tell them get into the trades. It is totally worth it. But I ask them a couple things. I'm like, how's your work ethic? Do you plan on getting up early? Do you listen to people that are above you in the ranking system, like your managers, your coworkers that are slightly above you, even people that are below you? Do you take advice from them? That's another big factor. A lot of old heads in this industry, they tend to not want to listen to newer plumbers coming up because they think they know everything. A lot of them don't even want to get into ProPress, which that's another subject. That's a different video on if ProPress versus solder. If you have any questions about that, just go look at Roger Wakefield's videos and he'll explain it all. But competition is one of them, you know. But let me tell you the downside to that though. A lot of companies, like here in Austin, I have a buddy who's looking for an apprentice position somewhere, just somewhere, and because of his lack of experience, some companies are not wanting to hire him. And that is a big issue because how do we expect people to grow in this industry if nobody's wanting to give people a chance? And the reason being is because a lot of people just go in there just for a paycheck. So that's where I'm saying is you're going in there just for a paycheck. and you're not actually wanting to invest your time, invest your knowledge, and invest in tools. You know you're going to be doing this for years down the road. Why not invest in the proper tools, the proper safety equipment? That's another big thing, safety equipment. And invest your time, watch YouTube videos on plumbing, and really dig into this. Really dig deep into what it takes to be a plumber and what it's going to cost to be a plumber. So this is also another reason why you probably clicked on the video. So we move on to number 3. Investment. My handwriting sucks, by the way. I'm working on it. Watch, you'll see it progress. But investment. It takes you 2 years. I was able to obtain my license in 1 year and 8 months. So I cut that 4 months off and went ahead and got my tradesman. But in order to get that, you have to put in a lot of hours. I've even heard of people getting it in 1 year and 6 months, 1 year and 4 months. It's really just how much are you willing to spend? How much are you willing to sacrifice? That is what it comes down to. So we talk about investment. What do I mean by investment? So again, going off of competition, which you heard in the previous chapter. So investment, you're investing your money, you're investing your time, and when you invest your time to get your license, you spend as many hours as you can. And the benefit to that is when you spend your time, let me do that. When you spend your time out inside the field and you're learning, you get money. Let me see if you can see that. So you get money. So what do I mean by that specifically? So people go into college, they're going in there for 4 years, 8 years, sometimes even 10 years to just go through college, go through the notion of everybody else who is on that same track. And I'm not saying college is the worst route or it's the route that you should not take, but I'm just saying weigh out your options and see which way do you want to go, which way is going to benefit you now, which way is going to benefit you in the future, and weigh those options out. Like, really take your time, get off of TikTok, get off of Instagram, and weigh your options out. So when it comes to time, you're getting paid to learn. Who else is gonna knock that idea off? So that's basically what you're doing, is you start out at the apprentice role, and the apprentice role, it can either make you or break you. So that part weaves out a lot of people that are not really capable or not really mentally there to do what it takes to be a plumber. And what I mean by that, which a lot of people just, not mentally capable. Yeah, I've met a lot of people where they're not mentally or physically capable to be a plumber, and they find that out real quick in the apprentice stage. You don't want to go through 4 years, you get your journeyman. Next part is to get your master's license, so you have another 4 years for that, and you figure out it's not meant for you. You just wasted 4 years. And as for now, you're using that 1 to 2 years of your apprentice journey to figure out if this is what you want to do, or should I make the switch and go be a welder, or should I make the switch and be an electrician, or should I make the switch and be a mechanic, diesel mechanic, whatever it may be. That gives you time, and a lot of people do not understand why that 2 years is there. Number one, it's to learn. Number two, I believe it is to weave out those that are not actually, I wouldn't really say capable, but that are not up for the challenge. And plumbing, it is a challenge. Every day, your mind's going, and it's physically and also emotionally and mentally draining. So people think, oh man, why do plumbers make so much? That's not even right. You know, it's a $15 part and they're charging me $400 or $200. And it's like, yes, that is the case, but it's the same thing. I know it's cliche, but you pay for the knowledge that that person has. You don't pay for the material only, or the tools that they may have. Tools they do come and play a part, because the tools that they have now, they developed all of those because of previous jobs where they needed those, or where people told them you need to step your game up and invest in tools. That's why I'm here now telling you investment. That is important. So what do you need to start out as a plumber? You don't need anything. The plumbers that you're going to be riding with already have their own tools. They already have the knowledge. All you have to do is show up. And a lot of people can't even do that. They can't even show up at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning to even start the job. Well, there you go. We weave out those that aren't capable of doing the job. So then we go to number 4. Last but certainly not least. Potential. I don't think I spelled that right, but you could barely see it, so just make up whatever letters you want right there. So we have potential. You have the potential of owning your own business after the 8-year mark. You don't even, realistically, I know somebody that owns their own company, and he doesn't even have his plumbing license. He doesn't even have any licensing. He just had the money, and he knew people that had their master's license, put everybody together, and started a company down in Dallas. It's very successful. I would go back if I was over there in Dallas, but over here God planted me here in Austin, and I'm grateful to be here in Austin. But if I were to go back to Dallas and live there, I would definitely go back to that company. I'll maybe shout them out later on down the road, but as of right now, we're talking about potential. You have the potential to own your own company, and depending on what company you're at, which company you start at, which company you end up at, they will either teach you how to run a company or how they run a company. And if you're really hungry, you'll pick it up as you go. You'll ask questions. The company that I'm at, Everest Plumbing, very, very great owner, and he's in it to teach and to aspire and inspire different plumbers that come into the company. So the morals are there, the belief systems are there, they all line up, and I love it. So by the end of the 4 years, after I get my journeyman, God willing, 4 years down the road, I'm gonna have my master's. I'm projected to have my master's. And so that 4-year time frame, I'm gonna be learning, I'm gonna be investing, saving, and just basically doing all these steps, but instead that's transitioning over to owning a business. And so right now, where you're probably at is you are just starting out with these. That's it. But all that it's going to take is to apply. Apply. And what I mean by that, I mean apply to different companies that you want to go to, or literally like just any of them that give you a shot and you see good reviews about them, or whatever the case may be, however your choosing process is. There's different videos on how to know if it's a good company or bad company, but I'm not going to talk about that here. So apply to those companies and run with it. Do not ever think in the beginning, like you're 3 months in, do not think, oh, I'm gonna go transition to this other company, because that other company is gonna see your 3 months and ask, why didn't you stay at the first company? You better have a damn good reason why you did not stay at the first company, whether that being they shut down, or unfortunately it happens, something like the owner passes and there's new management around, they fire people, that kind of stuff. But it better be a good reason. I've seen many good apprentices where they leave thinking that they can find another job, and unfortunately that's not the case. Especially what I said, I believe I talked about it in economy in that chapter, but But you talk about nobody is wanting, well, you talk about not everybody is wanting to hire apprentices. And that's because when you have a plumber on a truck, depending on the size of the company, the last company I was at here in Austin, I won't shout them out, but they're projected each company, they're projected that each plumber that they have on the truck is gonna bring them $1 million a year. That's, of course, gross or whatever, but that is what they see, is that they see numbers. As for apprentices, you're not worth anything if you're not with the plumber. And if they're doing small jobs every single day, they're not needing an apprentice. All their plumbers can do that. They can do that with ease. So that is why I say the first company you're at, stick to it, run with it, and wait until you get your license to make that transition. Either you get your license, number one, or you have a buddy or have a guaranteed spot at a different company that is going to pay you more. So a lot of people I see, they get paid less when they switch a company. In the apprentice position, it's different when you get your license. You may be learning other things, but I'll talk about that in a different video. But here we're talking about apprenticeship. You go in there and they give you a better position, or they help you get your endorsements, they help you with whatever the case may be. But like I said, if you do not have a guaranteed job when you leave that first company, do not leave. I'm telling you right now, do not leave. Companies will see that and they will ask, why did you leave that first company? So that being said, we're gonna wrap up the video here, and maybe if this gets enough traction or enough likes, we'll talk about a different subject. Just let me know in the comments, what do you want to know, either as an apprentice or a tradesman. I'm not there to really talk about journeyman or masters. I'm only talking about the levels that I've already been in. I may have like some knowledge of those other levels, but I'm mainly sticking in what I know. I'm not going to pretend like I know something and sit down here and look like a fool. So just let me know what you want to know, and I will do my best to cover that. And until then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.